And so FPL Game Week 37, there's still a few games left to play, but the weekend's action is over and it has been a successful one to a point for your old pal, the FPL Nightmare. It has not been flawless by any means. I did sell Oliver Watkins. I did bench Morgan Rogers. I did bench Joe Rodon as well, like many other people have benched the Leeds defenders. But I come out tonight, I come for the stroll and I am not defeated by the points left on the table. I am not downhearted by the points that I could have had and have lost, because I am buzzing for the fact that I backed myself, I backed my own judgment, and I brought in Big Will Asula, and he danced his way like a smooth criminal, straight up to 13 points. And, you know, the thing with this game, when you're having a bad season, is it feels like there's no joy. When you're having a bad season, it feels like everything is just not worth it. The game itself isn't fun. And you have to find ways to make it fun. And look, I mean, even this, Asula, 13 points, tainted by the knowledge I sold Ollie Watkins to get him and he got 15, but it doesn't matter. Because once you sell a player, he's just another player that you don't own. You know, fair enough, I could have had Ollie Watkins. Maybe I could have sold Igor Thiago, kept Ollie Watkins and been absolutely buzzing even further, an extra 13 points. But that moment when Asula scored that first goal, the weight, the relief, knowing that I could have brought in Gyökeres, I could have brought in the Arsenal attacker like everybody else, and I needed Asula to deliver. I needed Asula to step up to the plate, and he did, not just once. No, he got me the 2 goals, 13 points. And look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's been a good game week, because it hasn't, but it's all about finding the joy amidst the despair that this game often provides us. And the game has provided a bit of despair. You know, I've got Dewsbury Hall. What was it, 27 on the BPS? He didn't even get involved in anything, you know. Could have been a huge haul. Only 2 points. Bruno Guimaraes captain. A gamble based on his 7 out of 14 double-figure hauls at home this season. I could not foresee Eddie Howe finally deciding to play the 4-2-3-1 with Voltemada in the 10. Newcastle so much better as a result as well. You know, and if Eddie Howe does stay next season, then this formation, it has to be the one. It has to be, because it looked devastating at times. It looked incisive, and yes, West Ham were poor. And yes, they are going down. Spurs, of course, only needing a point to survive because of the goal difference, 2 games to go. It's looking ominous for West Ham. But then Chelsea could beat Spurs, and then, you know, Everton, Dewsbury Hall, big man, Beto, anything could happen there as well. So West Ham need to keep the hope alive, however grim it looks, because sometimes teams throw away these impossible positions. It looks, for all intents and purposes, like Spurs are safe, but we have seen these go different ways on different days. So we'll just have to see. But for me, Newcastle, they look so good. And you do have to judge it against the opposition. But at the same time, the opposition only looks so bad because Newcastle looks so good. So it would be nice if Eddie Howe does stay, if this is the blueprint, Voltemada in the 10, Asula causing that chaos up ahead. And the downside, of course, was it meant Bruno Guimaraes was playing the holding midfield role, which is never what you want for your captain. And he got me the DEFCONs, though. He got me those DEFCONs, but missed opportunity. Just didn't see that happening, because Eddie Howe is quite resistant to change. So if I knew Guimaraes was holding midfield, I wouldn't have captained him. But you've got to have a bit of fun. And I have had some fun. 21 points from Osula and Captain Guimaraes. If it had been a Guimaraes 16-pointer and an Osula 5-pointer, I'd be buzzing, and I'm still buzzing now. You know, the rest of it, not so great. Mukiele 2 points in a 3-1 win. I mean, The Brookie-Haley home rotation always falls apart when you play them away. Although last time he played away, Mukiele did get me 11 points. And maybe that was in my mind when I decided to start him over Hill or Rodon. But it's not the end of the world. You know, it's just a few points. Although, to be fair, at this stage of the season, a few points is all you can hope for from players. So, Thiago, I've talked about, bit of a disaster. You know, and then Bruno Fernandes, 9 points. By all accounts, I didn't watch it, but by all accounts, could have been an awful lot more. Maybe got away with one there. Always Captain Bruno, they said. Well, I did Captain Bruno, the better Bruno. A good debate that. Who would you rather have in your team next season? Bruno Guimaraes or Bruno Fernandes? I'm sure most would default to Fernandes, but is he the one? I don't know. Obviously in your FPL team, Fernandes is the one, but interesting. So anyway, for the rest of the week, Raya and Gabriel, this is where it's going to get hard. Raya and Gabriel, just like most people. O'Reilly, Sharky, Haaland, like most people. Captaincy gone. Bit of a shame. Not the end of the world though. But the big news is, before that Newcastle match, I was down to like 1.2 million or something, 1.18 million in the world. I was like, oh my God. All this work to get to the brink of the top million, and I've thrown it all away with a crazy punt on Willa Sula. And you know, Morgan Rogers on the bench. But now, after that Newcastle match, I am up to 940k. But more importantly, when it comes, because we have to remember the game is as much about mini leagues as overall ranks. And when it comes to the mini leagues, look, the Nightmares Dreamers mini league, that's well and truly gone. That is probably going to be won by Let's Talk FPL Andy. I think he's inside the top 600 as I record. Phenomenal stuff. But there is another mini league that is important, and that is the FPL Pubcast mini league. And Nick Triggs won that. That's gone. Yeah, just dropped my phone. Oh, I'm getting too old for this. Every time I bend over, my back risks blowing up. Gary Beer, second in the Pubcast League. Most likely will stay there. Third and fourth, oh, I should have had this loaded up. This is poor. And now there's people walking the other way. And that always makes me a bit nervous. Lovely dog. Can't even see who it is because I've not got my glasses on. But where are they? Where are they? Kanji. Gary. Hello, pup. Hello. Still. There we go. You see them lovely dogs in the background. That's what it's all about. Where the hell are they? There's Roberto. Roberto, 268k. Kanji, 205k. 13 points Roberto is behind Kanji in that big chase. Kanji, of course, on his bench boost. And then Gary is only 17 points ahead of Kanji as it speaks. So that, the race for second in the Pubcast Mini League, very close. You'd think Gary Beer would bring it home, but Kanji is putting on the charge. And you know, Gary Beer, 21 points, still 8 to go though, let's be fair. But it's close, but that is not what I'm here to talk about. We can talk about that on the Pubcast on Wednesday when I am on with, hello. I think they had headphones in, now I just feel awkward. Yeah, I'm on the Pubcast on Wednesday. Me, Nick Trigg, Gary Beer, and of course, the main man, the D Unit. That'll be good. I've not streamed with them four for a while. Well, them three. Really looking forward to that. And what is especially interesting as we preview game week 38 is that the race for the Pubcast wooden spoon is going to go down to the wire. I've been saying for weeks, all I want to be is within striking distance of the D Unit. If I can get within striking distance of D Unit for game week 38, I will bring in Dirty 2 Point Dom. I will captain him and I will take down the D Unit. with his most reviled player. But now there's a predicament I had not foreseen. There is a situation which has caused me to second guess that strategy. And that situation is I have already overtaken the D unit. A game week early, I have climbed up to 5th in the Pubcast Mini League, and the D unit is behind me. He is now 7 points behind me as we speak. And look, we have to be real about the situation. There is time for all that to change before the game week ends. I only have Raya, I have Gabriel, I have O'Reilly, Sherky and Haaland. Well, D unit, he's got Raya, Gabriel, he has got Haaland and O'Reilly and Raya. But what he has is Matthias Nunes and Bukayo Saka. Whereas for me, I have Ryan Sherky, and look, I would love Sherky to miss out. Sherky miss out, get them points from Morgan Rogers off my bench. That would be, oh, can I sneak one last bit of bench jam before the end of the season? We just don't know. All we can do is hope. Maybe if Arsenal can seal the title, maybe Pep will rotate, give Sherky the night off. We can just only hope. I will surely not be the only one hoping for a scenario like that to play out, given some of the bench scores I've seen this week. Some people with 30-odd points on the bench with players still to go. It's been a mad week. All the players that have let us down all season have brought in all the points. It's crazy, like. But that's the way the game goes. And look, that Osula call, I feel buzzing, like. And I know, technically, I've lost points. But I don't feel like I have. I don't feel like I've lost points on Osula. I feel like I've lost points by keeping Thiago over Watkins, because I feel that the call was vindicated. And that's how I look at it. You know, it's good because I did that big thing on Wednesday, you know, you don't need Arsenal attackers. There are other options out there. And I name-checked Osula. I said, you take out that Arsenal game, he's got 4 goals in 4 starts and 2 sub-appearances. You take out that Arsenal game, you got something daft like 0.76 XG per game, not per 90, per game, even though he's subbed early. Like, the data was there for Osula since he became the Newcastle main man. The data was there. The fixture was there against one of the worst teams in the league. I'm sorry, West Ham fans. The table doesn't lie. Osula, he was fresh, you know, and it would have been easy to go Gyökeres. But now Gyökeres has to get more than 13 points to make that decision justified. And also, Osula's like almost half the price. So, and this is the important thing for me, because last year, I feel like this entire year has been about trying to rediscover who I am as an FPL manager, trying to rediscover how to play the game in many ways, because last season, played my own game. You know, I wasn't engaging like so much with the wider FPL community. It was all about my mini league. It was all about my mates, all about differentiating myself from my mates, from my hometown, in order to beat them. And I did it, you know. But along the way, I made new mates. I made different mates who are better at the game than me. And then I put together the Nightmares Dreamers League. And now, instead of trying to differentiate myself from, you know, a lot of people who are good at the game but take it less seriously than you and I do, now I'm trying to differentiate myself from some of the best players the game's ever seen. You know, let's talk Andy, Marku Ojala, you know, Baker from above average, you know, Nick Trigg, you know, all these legends of the game. Praz, FPL Harry, the Raptor, all of them. Except for Focal, who didn't want to join, but that's fair enough, you know? And instead of differentiating myself from my mates, I was trying to differentiate myself from the best in the game. And that is a much harder challenge because the best in the game know all about the best players. So it's not like I'm different. What I'm having to do is reject the best players and the best strategies to try and differentiate. Maybe this is part of, you know, having a YouTube channel that's grown quite considerably. You know, I've ended last season with about 350 subs. Now I'm on the brink of 2,500. It's mad to me, you know, because I don't say, oh, buy this player, oh, buy that player. It's not really what I'm about, you know, because I'm just trying to empower people to make their own choices, trying to empower people to play the game the way they want, to find the fun in the game, to encourage people to experience the emotions the game provides and creates without feeling any shame for it. You know, I don't want people being embarrassed that the game upsets them. You know, it's kind of why I do this content. I give you my raw reaction. Today, it's a nice one. You know, sometimes I'm in my shed ranting and raving, and if you've had a bad game week and you think, why does this matter so much to me? At least you can look at an idiot like me and think, well, you know, at least I don't take it seriously as this clown. 2 million in the world, he's ranting and raving in his shed in 2 a.m. You know, but that's what it's about. You know, there's plenty of people better than me who will advise you on the players to buy. I'm just trying to make you see the game a bit differently. You know, encourage you, empower you to play the game your way. Like the above average lads say, my team, my emotions. Try and make it your team. And accept your emotions, because it is okay to be emotional. The only things that matter in life are the things we choose matter. You know, the only things that mean anything are the things we ascribe meaning to. And like, I'll give you an example. Last 2 weeks, I've been running the games master of a WhatsApp Traitors game. And it's been great fun, you know. Lots of dramatic moments, like as was my secret traitor from the black box, and he handpicked Andy North to be one of the traitors alongside him, only for us to make a little slip up. And then as he thought he'd rectified the situation, what he didn't realise is that Andy North had already set up a secret group chat with the other traitors, and they threw us under the bus. You'll see it. Only Az was on the black box on Thursday. Was it to do with this WhatsApp Traitors game? Only they will know. But it was, you know, fantastic fun, and it's an emotional game. It matters to people because we chose to take it seriously. We chose to invest emotion, time and energy in this game. Ridiculous amount of time and energy, but we all had fun, you know. And then I had a few of the other FPL lads in. I had Kieran from Double Pivot, Andy and Az from the Black Box. I had Stark from the Thinking Cap, legendary in the Traitors games. Kanji and Gary from the Pubcast, and there was some, you know, I had to manage Gary a bit, and then there was the other one, Thurgs. I don't know if you know Thurgs FPL. Don't know if he does videos, but he's great. Crack Sherlock Thurgs, we call him in the community, the Traitors community. And we had great fun, and it was those FPL guys and about 18 people, 19 people from like my real life. And you never know how the blend is going to go. You never know how people are going to coexist. But we all decided collectively, individually, that this game mattered. And as a result of that, 12 days later, there's some new friendships there. There's some new relationships there. People, we spent all day yesterday doing it, the big fire pit finale, you know. Andy North caught at the last, on the verge of being the sole surviving traitor, having thrown all his other traitors under the bus, on the verge of victory, only to be caught at the end. by a player who had the seer power used on him, which is very unusual in the traitors games. So the seer normally means instant death, but not this time. It meant victory. And it was nice, you know, because there's a blend of experience and the blend of personalities from all walks of life, all having a great time. And that's, to me, this is what FPL is as well, you know. Fair enough, it's maybe not as intense, maybe not as, well, I mean, it is at times. It's maybe not as direct as a game like the Traitors or WhatsApp Traitors game is, which I must give massive credit to Greyhead for introducing me to, and to Sham as well. I don't know if you know Sham, but them two have been great support throughout the process of running my first game, because I didn't, you know, making it up as I go along. It worked out really quite well, and that's, you know, you've got to take support from people who know better. That's a lot what FPL is like as well. I'm not saying I'm one of those people. You know, if you want, buy this player, buy that player, you know, you can go and watch a load of other content creators who are better at that than me, watch more football than me. But if you want people for whom the game means more, I don't know if you'll find them. You probably will. This game means a lot to me for reasons I've spoken about in the past, emotional ones, mental health ones, routine. And all I try and do is encourage you to accept your emotions around the game, because they're all valid. If you're upset because you've sold a player and he's got 12 points, that's fine. Admit those emotions, accept them within yourself, and then you can move on with your day, you can move on with your weekend. It's why I do these videos. Because I have a bad game week and I feel frustrated, I come out and I talk about it to the camera for 20 minutes, half an hour. And by the end of it, I feel better because I've acknowledged my emotions, because I've accepted them for what they are, because I haven't dismissed them as being irrelevant, because they are relevant. And then I go home and I'm in a better place. And I can be a better husband, I can be a better father, be a better friend to people. And that's what the game's about. So that's all my channel is. I don't really know why I've gone on such quite a tangent about that. We're here to talk about the game. But yeah, you know, so this season, last year, my mini league, I got ahead, clear, top 10k. And then I thought, for the YouTube channel, I need to win this mini league. For the story I was telling last season, I needed to win the mini league. And all I did was shut down my rival. All I did in the running was bring in the players he signed so that he could not catch me. And it cost me in the ranks, and that's okay, because that wasn't the target last season. It was about the mini league. And this season, that hasn't worked out quite so well, because the mini league I've been focused on has been filled with far, far better players than I. And I've got my arse kicked, and that's all right too. Because in that process, I've had the conversations with Praz, with Az, with Trout, Trig, D-Unit, Gary. I've had those conversations. FPL Fran, of course. Nearly forgot the one that started it all. Turn it around because there's some young ruffians up there. And over that, I feel like I've rediscovered, reinvented myself a bit. And the season is ending. 10 game weeks too soon for me. I feel with another 10 game weeks, I could really do something, because I feel like I've remembered who I am in this game. I remembered what brought me to the dance. And I remembered that I just need to play my own game. I need to refine my game, improve it. And those conversations I had will help me do that next season. But I have to have myself in there. I have to be able to do things like bringing Bruno Guimaraes to reunite Brookie early. And what's the points run in? I have to be able to feel like I can do things like think Willisula is the man on fire, 0.76 XG per game. I'm going to bring him in when Arsenal have got Burnley. And look, that might still backfire. Gyökeres could go and get 5 goals. But tonight, the emotions are positive and it's important to share those. The rants are good. The positive emotions are also important, because what's the point in playing the game if all you're doing is being miserable? You know, so that's a nice feeling. And of course, while I may have knackered myself in one mini league, the Nightmares Dreamers League, maybe next year I'll do well there. But now I am ahead of the D unit. And you know, at one point I was about 50 points adrift, and I've clawed my way back, playing my game, not playing Praz's game, not playing FPL France game, not playing FPL Review or Solio's game. I've played my game. And I've trusted myself. And now I'm on the verge of avoiding that wooden spoon in the Pubcast League. And look, it's nothing, is it? You know, you're the second worst player in a league of 6, 150 points adrift of the rest, or something stupid. But at the same time, it's something. And like, going on the Pubcast on Wednesday with my pals, and we'll have a good laugh about this. We'll have a good discussion about it. And then the week after, I'm back on the Pubcast with them again. And we're doing the season review. And we'll laugh about this. Whatever the outcome, we'll have a good time. And that's what the game's about. It's about your pals. It's about having fun with your mates. And whether they are your old mates that you've known for years, like the ones I beat last season, or my new mates that I've made throughout the game and have kicked my ass this season. If you're having fun with your mates, you're already winning. I would throw away 150 FPL points a season if it meant I could have fun with my pals. And, you know, I'm on quite the ramble here. Like I say, I've been trapped in the land of the traitors for 12 days. And now I'm finally emerging from it. And I feel like my mind's clearing of the train there. Really loud. Let's test the noise cancellation, huh? Maybe we'll go this way. See them ruffians behind us. I feel like I'm coming back into it, just waffling a bit, but it's the end of the season, eh? What's there to say? Ooh. You know, I was talking about it to Gary earlier. FPL content almost feels pointless at this point, because the value of it and the fun of the game in many ways is all about the strategy. It's all about the long-term planning. How are we going to navigate the fixtures? How are we going to navigate the way things go? You know, the blanks, the doubles, the captaincies. Now, the end of the season, it's all about the transfers. Who are we going to bring in? And it's important, it's fun, but it's not the same. What was that I said to Gary? It's like, I can't even remember what the analogy was, mainly because I'm a little bit nervous about these people. They're still following me. I can't tell. What was it I said to him? Scroll, blah, blah, blah. Yes, it's like most of the season, the FPL season, we're playing chess. And now all we're doing is tossing a coin every week. And it's still fun, especially if you call tails and it never fails. But it's not the same game. And it's not the same. It doesn't require the same investment. So I'm not going to regale you with a list of transfers you should make, players you should sign. Not even thought about it for next week for me. If I'm completely honest with you, I'll bring up FPL team now. I did have in the back of my mind Dan Burn. Just end of season, Newcastle, away at Fulham. We've been successful there once. One year I brought in Share away at Fulham on the final day. Got me a 15-pointer. Can Dan Burn do the same against his old team, maybe? You know? But like, my team's decent for next week. Raya Gabriel against Palace, O'Reilly Cherky Haaland against Villa, Hill against Forest, Fernandez against Brighton, Dewsbury Hall against Spurs, Bruno Guimaraes and Asula against Fulham. And then there's Thiago or Rodgers against Liverpool and Man City. So I would say actually probably one of them would be the best one to swap. Like I say, the plan was Rodgers to wear Dominic Szoboszlai, but maybe I'll go Harvey Barnes. You know, maybe I'll do something a bit daft like that. I don't know. What are the fixtures? Jadon Anthony against Wolves. You know, he started the season with a bang. Could he finish it? Why not? Both teams are down. They've had an out to Trier. Maybe they'll just have a bit of a shootout to end the season. Leeds against West Ham. Anton Stack could be the one. You know, there's lots of options. Liverpool, Mo Salah. I think probably could get to Salah, you know. Maybe not actually. Little bug on me thing. Maybe can't get to Salah, but Szoboszlai, a lovely option. He might actually be the best sign, and maybe I'll just get Elliot Anderson, seeing as he seems to have been in spectacular form. I don't know. Not really what the video is about. We'll have to see how the game week pans out. But, you know, this is it. All I wanted to do is talk about the emotion, really, around the game, about experiencing that positive one. And there'll be a few people teasers. You know, oh, Osula 13 points doesn't count because you sold Watkins. Does, baby. Yes, it does. The mistake wasn't in bringing in Osula. It was keeping Thiago over Watkins, and not really bothered because I feel good. And that's a nice way. As the season ends, I'm feeling good about the game. I'm feeling positive about the future. And I'm looking forward to next season. And for a long time this year, I haven't felt that way. And it's nice that I do. So I'm going to leave it there because it's a nice ending. Thank you for watching. We will see you next time.